Hello, lovelies. Okay, I haven't got an intro because I'm changing it because I've changed my channel name. So, you know. Okay, these are my nails. This is what I'm going to do. I'm using glitter bows, glass slippers, CJP, and more. These stunning pre-pinched stiletto tips from Glitter Planet UK. I love them. I've tried other tips. I like these ones. These are life. I've got a 10% discount code in the description box below. Glitter bows clear monomer because it is amazing. This super stunning holographic glitter. It's called Candy Floss Holo Multi-Cut from the Glitter Fairy. Absolutely beautiful. I love it. I've got it on this hand. Now on my right hand I've done a sensible length that I can manage with, and on my left I've done more of a XL stiletto. I've also got these kind of flakes from CJP. From Angel Crystals I've got this Swarovski mix, which is stunning. I've also got some mixed opals from Angel Crystals, and these stunning rhombus crystals as well. They're all Swarovski. They're beautiful. I'm using my Glitter Fairy size 10 round brush as always. Sorry about the camera wobble at the beginning. So I've pushed my cuticle back. I've removed any non-living tissue from the nail surface. I've etched the nail plate. I've then dehydrated and primed, got rid of any dust and all that. And I'm just going in with a thin layer of glass slippers on each nail. I keep just staring at the glitter. So I'm just laying that thin base down to protect my nail from coloured acrylic, and also to give me something to file back to. I forgot to say, I'm also using CJP Watermelon, which is a stunning, and it's strength powder as well, so which is quite good. So you can cap it if you choose to, but if you don't need to cap it, you don't have to. So I'll lay that clear base down on all 5 nails, gently pushing it down to the cuticle area so that we don't have a harsh line. Keeping it nice and thin, nice and smooth. You don't need to drag it all the way down because obviously the tip is already clear, so I'd literally just drag it far enough to blend it in. Tuck it in around the side walls there. And as you can see, I find it easier to anchor my little finger to something. So if you're just starting out with nails and you're like, how do I keep my hand steady? This is crazy. Anchor your little finger to the other hand. It's so much easier. You kind of lean on it. Okay, so I'm going to go and do my smile line first. I'm using Amore by CJP. Laying down quite a dry bead. Just tap those bits there to make sure they polymerize. I can never say that word. You know what I mean. And I'm just going to blend that bead back before it sets. I forgot to put my monomer in the fridge, and it was incredibly hot and humid, so this was setting hella fast, and I was really having to kind of push it quite hard. Hope you like the camera angle. It's my new camera arm. I'm finding it a lot easier. I had to get used to it today, so I have slipped out of shot a little bit, but still easier than the alternative. And I will put the link to that in the description box below. And if you want to see how my husband has doctored it to make it user friendly so I can see what I'm recording, then I'm happy to do a quick video on that. Just let me know. So I'm putting my second bead in and I'm pushing that right up to the cuticle, nice and gently, slightly wetter than the first bead so that it blends in nicely. I'm just tucking that in and then blending it back down towards the edge of the smile line. And then if I need another bead, I'll go in with another bead. Smile lines are something I think I said last time. I haven't been doing enough of them. So I really want to do more because it's easy to get out of practice. You forget when you haven't done something. So I'm looking at the side profile of this and thinking, okay, there are a few areas I need to tidy up. I need to give it a bit more bulk at the cuticle as well, ready for the apex area. And I need to go in at that side because there was a tiny bit missing, and that's the trick, is to check your nails from all angles. It is especially hard when you're doing your own nail and trying to film it. But generally you're doing a client's nails, and it's just important. And don't feel, I used to remember feeling quite worried about moving their hands around, but don't. It's important that you inspect your work from all angles. So I'm just pushing that all into place, getting it the way I want it. Putting that last bead down at the cuticle and just blending it to the edge of the smile line. Building that apex. Doesn't matter if it's a bit too high because I can file back to it, but what we don't want is for it to be not high enough. Okay, plenty of height there. So I'm going to move on to the thumb now. The thumb's going to be full glitter. That's stunning, beautiful glitter. I went out of shot, so instead of making you watch the side of my hand, I just came back and cut the clip. This, oh, I can't even express how beautiful this is. So this is the Candy Floss Holo multi-cut from the Glitter Fairy. It really is so beautiful, and when the sunlight hits it, oh my gosh, it's absolutely stunning. I've got a new Facebook page up. The salon is almost finished. I'm always saying that, the salon's almost finished, and then we hit, a problem and it sets us back, because that's building work though, isn't it, for you? But I have got a new Facebook page, which is Nails by Sarah Burchett, which I'll put the link or the handle in the description box below. And I always try and get some shots of my nails out in natural light, so you can really see the detail and the glitters and the sparkle. So I'm picking up small wet beads and dipping them straight into the glitter. So a small wet bead of clear acrylic straight into the glitter, and then bringing it onto the nail and blending it down. And I think for me, I find that the best way, is working with smaller beads and then adding them in. And if the nail is very wet, you can just tap your brush into the glitter itself and pat that on top like I'm doing here, just to fill any little gaps. And then I check it from all profiles, look at that sparkle, and I just pat it and make sure it's where I want it to be. So I'm just patting those edges now, because we don't want to bulk them out too much, making sure it's all sitting nice and flat. And there you go, that's a full coverage there for a very thin layer. On to the index finger, which is going to be a full nail of CJP Watermelon, out of shot. That's so funny. CJP Watermelon, there we go. I took my zoom out after this because I was like, okay, I can't hold my finger at this angle and work. I cannot see what I'm doing. So I just pulled the zoom out a little bit. CJP Watermelon is a strength powder, so you do not need to cap it in clear unless you choose to. Some people prefer to still use them as design powders and then cap in clear. I tried to work with this a bit wetter and thinner, and I found it to go a bit grainy. I don't know if anyone else has had that issue. Whereas when I worked drier, it was fine. So I decided to build the nail completely with the watermelon, so I could just get a feel for the product. Because obviously I tend to do work with Glam and Glitz and Glitter Bows more. But there were a few CJP colours that I really wanted. Now this was drying super fast. My monomer was warm, everything was warm. So it was drying super fast. So lesson learnt for me, please remember to put the monomer in the fridge, Sarah. Just for a bit, just to cool it down a little bit. Or some people have said place your monomer jar in like a shallow bowl with some ice in or something, just to keep the temperature down, because it was very hot and humid at the moment. So I'm literally just building the nail with the watermelon. I added more beads than I would have liked. I worked messier than I would have liked, but it's nothing that a file can't fix at the end. It's always very easy to do your own nails off camera and just sit there and take your time and have them at the right angle, and then when you try to record it, it's just never that easy. So I'm literally patting and pulling that bead down towards the tip very gently, small movements, checking it all the time from all the angles to make sure that things are going the way I want them to go, and then I can see which areas I need to build up more. So obviously, because I'm not going to be capping this, I just wanted a bit more product there because I will be refine filing it, so I don't want to file away the colour. So I blended the bead up first and then I'm pulling it down towards the tip. I always say tip and free edge. I say both words. I guess there's no real law against that, but kind of irritate myself. Now I need to add my strength. So I've got my colour down, I've got a solid colour, but I don't have an apex. So now I'm going in and looking at, okay, I really need to strengthen this nail because they are long and I will bash them a lot. But here at least you can see this design in two ways. You can see it with a salon length and you can see it with a more extreme length, which to some people is not extreme at all, but to others it's crazy long. It's a very individual thing. So I'm trying my hardest to blend that bead down, but it was drying quite quickly, so I'm going to go in and add another bead and just smooth all that out. Slightly wetter this time, but it does go a bit grainy when it's wet, so once I'm happy with that, then I'll leave it to dry and move on. So I'm checking that from all angles again, and I'm ready to move on to the next now. So I'm going in here with a bead of watermelon, pushing it up towards the cuticle, and then I'm going to feather it down. And I think we go kind of halfway. See it drying really quickly. It's starting to get quite tricky to move. Doesn't give you much time in this heat. I was really having to push down. I'm going to go in with the second bead. I'm going to place that bead, and then I'm going to just blend it back up a little bit and pull it down, because there was an area that really wasn't covered well enough at all. Just clean up that side wall area. There we go. Oh, pesky bit of glitter. Okay, and a third bead. I'm going to blend that back up towards the cuticle and then feather it down. We don't want to feather it too far because right at the very tip, I'm just going to do a tiny glass tip effect. Nothing spectacular, you know, just a small, just to add more dimension. This is my exciting nail, as I call it. So I'm going to add now a piece of this beautiful material that Dawny Eastwood sent me. I said the wrong surname, I said Edwards the other day, and it's because I do have a friend called Dawn Edwards as well, and I just completely bodged the name up and I felt so bad, so I do apologise, please forgive me. But Dawn Eastwood sent me this delicious kind of fairy wings material and I just love it, and when the light catches it and it's encapsulated, it looks like laser lights going across the nail. Oh my god, I love it. What I'm doing to soften the edges is I'm adding a small wet bead and then putting that into the Candy Floss holographic glitter and just feathering it around. I do remove some because I don't want too much. I don't want to take away from the effect, but I want to kind of bring it in gradually rather than just a harsh line. And then again at the bottom I'm doing the same. There was a bit that was kind of loose, so I removed that. There we go. And then just adding a couple of pieces of glitter around it just so that it ties it all in together. And then we're going to leave the tip. I'm going to let that set. I'm not going to touch it. On to the pinky. The pinky is going to be a glitter fade. So we're doing watermelon from the cuticle down and then the Candy Floss glitter from the free edge up. Or If you say it the other way around, but I can't. I just can't. My brain works this way around. So I'm just pushing that into place and then dragging it down so we've got no harsh lines. I'm going to add another bead. Feather it back up so we've got no harsh line there, and then just pat it and pull it down. You see it starts getting rigid quite quickly in this heat. It doesn't mess about, which is quite handy on these tips because they're super pinched. If your acrylic is, you know, starting to slow its flow, I suppose, then it's easier. So I'm just tapping the glitter into the wet acrylic here. And I did add a little bit too much, but it's okay. I tried to remove some of it, but it didn't all come off, but that's all right. I mean, it's glitter. You can't really have too much, can you? Let's be honest. Awesome, there we are. Okay, so I filed in this smile line off camera, and I'm going to now add watermelon at the tip. It doesn't matter if it makes a mess because I'm going to file it in with my e-file. So if you've watched my previous videos, I did not have an e-file. Hadn't had one for years, and then I decided I was going to get one because I was having some trouble with my joints in my fingers getting inflamed, so if I could ease off the strain with filing, that would be a lot easier. So I now have a lovely e-file. I will put the video in the description box below where I unbox it and talk about it and show you it. It's a great value for money, but really good quality at the same time. So I was trying to work wet because it really was hot, especially as I had two lights on, and actually my phone overheated. It got so warm. So no wonder this acrylic was setting super fast. Because I just think I had the lights too close as well, which is another learning curve really. It's always learning. That's what I love about this industry. You never ever know it all. Just when you think I've got this down, I'm okay, there's something else to learn, and I love that. I hate standing still. I think it's important to grow all the time. I'm adding another bead there just to make it extra messy, you know, and then blending it down. There's that pesky little bit on the side, look. Oh, that was driving me nuts. We've got it now. And then I'm going to look at the shape and think, I don't like that, so I'm going to build up a bit more. This was a messy one. I'll be honest with you, it was drying super quick. Even though I was working wet, it was a messy one, but it filed back beautifully, as you will see. So don't fear, there is always a file at hand. I mean, in an ideal world, you wouldn't have to file that long, and they would be beautifully shaped, like, for example, Lucy's. The glitter fairy, Miss Lucy. But we all look at our work and see fault and learn where to grow and develop. And that's what I'm doing here. So I was getting very frustrated with this. This was, as you can see, super drying fast now. And I was getting really agitated. I did these nails in an hour and a half, guys. I literally got home from taking my daughter to a university experience. I've dropped her off for a week, and I was like, okay, I've got an hour and 45 minutes before school run to pick little man up. I'm gonna film this. So these were rushed, but it's not really an extremely difficult design. It's not demanding. It's quite simple. Probably the most demanding nail is the smile line out of all of them. So it shouldn't take long anyway, really. But I would have ideally liked to have spent longer on them and just been more chilled out and enjoyed the experience. Sorry for going out of shot. Okie dokie. So now what I'm going to do is change out my monomer because it's contaminated, and cap these nails. So I've cleaned my brush, I've changed out my monomer and my tissue paper, to get rid of any residue of glitter or the watermelon colour, because I want a nice clear cap on that. And I want to cap these before I file off the bulk off of that smile line, because that doesn't need capping because they're all strength powders, and also because it will get a ton of dust and it will dull the sparkle of that glitter if dust gets in there. So I'm literally just pulling that down, and then, so on this thumbnail I've got quite small nails. I think with the Glitter Fairy pre-pinched stiletto tips, they run small for size anyway, but I still use, for example, the smallest one on my little finger, and my thumb is like a number 4, I think. So often I find that I have to just shape it with a little bit of extra capping. Sometimes it might look a bit narrow for my actual thumb. It's like my nails are quite small, but when I look at the dimension of my thumb and the nail, I might need to change the shape slightly just to make it visually more appealing. All the time I'm capping, I'm trying to create the strength, covering that glitter, so once the glitter goes matte, you know it's covered. But also I'm looking at the actual shape of the nail, so don't want to lose that shape. I want to enhance that stiletto shape. The sides I felt needed filling in a little bit just to give it that nice sharp edge when it's filed. So that's what I did there. Obviously I don't need to cap the index finger or the nail that's going to be filed back with the smile line. Can you see I wetted down the nail? I've sped this up a little bit now. I wet down the nail first because I want to clean any dust that might be on there, and also I want to make sure the acrylic I'm placing on has something to adhere to, and we don't want any air bubbles or nasties in there. We want it nice and clear because there's quite a lot going on this nail. So I'm going in quite wet because I really want a clear tip, and I want those glitters and that fairy wings material to really shine through. So I go in quite wet, and then I let gravity kind of do the rest of the work, just patting that bead into place. So they're all capped. My camera ran out of footage again. It's my mobile phone. So I've just taken the bulk off with my e-file on there. That's all I've done, and now I'm going to go in and refine by hand. And this was when my phone overheated and cut out, so I was trying to show you how I do my filing. So I always start at the side walls, I go underneath and then the side, and I do that on both sides. Then I go around the cuticle, and then we do the bulk of the nail. But I will try and show you that in my next video. I'm applying here some NSI Polybond and then the rhombus from Angel Crystals. It's so easy, it's got a flat back, it sits perfectly on the nail. So cool to have a really big Swarovski crystal and it's not standing too proud. And then I'm just going in with the mix that I got from Angel Crystals and just adding a few. I really should have planned this better. I'm not happy with my crystal placement or the design I did. I didn't think it through. I just really got slap happy with them. I mean, when I look at them, they sparkle and I love them, but I would have preferred to have thought through my design a little bit more and not rushed it, which again is another lesson learned. So I do actually go in with opals as well, but I only have one crystal tray, which is ridiculous. I need to get some more. This little crystal tool I think I got from Crystal Parade a while back. It's great. So I'm just popping a few on, and then I'm going to go in between the gaps with the opals. Something I really want to work on, as well as, so the things I've set as targets to work on this year have been cuticle application, finish filing and crystal placement. They're things I really have, my focus on this year. I would really like to do some advanced training with Lucy, the Glitter Fairy. I just have to figure out, because it's quite a distance for me to travel, and Unfortunately, due to my body being screwed up by arthritis, I can't really drive that far, which means my wonderful husband would have to take me. Maybe he could be my hand model, because I don't really know anyone that would travel that far with me, so maybe he could be my hand model. So I'm just going in with the opals here. They're stunning, they're really nice. I feel like maybe I chose the wrong ones for the design, for the set. Maybe they don't match, but I just was like a kid. You know when you get something, you just want to use it all. So that was a bit like that. Just going to add some to this thumb as well. And I was just randomly like placing them all. I didn't think about it at all. It's okay, but I would do it differently next time. I think, but I'm starting to get more into Swarovski crystals now, whereas before I never really thought about them. Recently I really do, so I think I should plan them, take as much time planning them as I do planning, you know, a set of nails. Because at the end of the day, if you've got a beautiful set of nails but your crystal placement's rubbish, it's going to ruin it. So on this nail I'm going in with CJP Tack-Free Top Gloss, and you can't see because it's focused on the wrong nail. I'm just going to kill that for 60 seconds and then go in with the CJP flakes. I can't remember what they're called. I'll try and find a link. And I'm really going to rub those in. I love how the CJP top gloss is like rubbery, especially when it's just out the lamp, because you've got that real resistance. So when you're trying to get a pigment into it, it sticks so well. Like those flakes really did kind of break up nicely and really give it a good effect. I was worried they'd be too flaky because I wanted a shimmer right through. So I thought, oh, I should have got a pigment, it won't work. But actually, I was really happy with the finished product. Really happy. Look at that, they're so pretty. So I'm going to give that another top coat, and I'm just going to cure that first top coat for 30 seconds. Then I'll go in and top coat everything and cure it for 60 seconds. The reason you do that for 30 seconds on that nail is because you double top coat over pigment. Oh, just look at that. Look at that glitter shining through. Going around the crystals, not over the top of them, because then they'll literally look like blobs of like sweets. They won't look like Swarovski crystals at all. Obviously doing the second layer on here. And then going in all around these crystals, and then I'll use my Illuminails Dementor detailer brush and go in around these crystals, which it doubles up because it helps seal them in as well. It's a beautiful top coat. I am so impressed with this top coat. I cannot stop looking at it. No matter what time I look at it, the shine is still there, the sparkle is still there. Like it's absolutely stunning. It really is. Going in around those crystals nice and gently. And then this nail, which I think might be, well, I don't know, I love them all really because they're all different. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's just, to me, I just love it so much. So pretty. And then last but not least, our little pinky glitter fade. How cute. Super cute. So I hope you've enjoyed this. There will be a little video of the finished item at the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe, check out my social media links below, tag me in your designs, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!